I thought we had more time, a life-changing estate planning disaster. By Rachel. Hi. My name is Rachel. And I'm the person who lost everything. Not because someone meant to hurt me, but because we waited too long to make things official. I was with David for 10 years. We weren't married, but we lived together, loved each other, and planned to grow old together. We built a life. A real one. But none of that mattered. Not to the hospital. Not to the courts. Not to his kids. Not to the law. All because we never took the time to sit down with an estate planning attorney. And now, I live in a small apartment, alone, with a suitcase of clothes and a few boxes of memories. Let me tell you how I got here. I met David at a composting workshop. Yeah. Romantic, right? He was funny and thoughtful. He had this way of paying attention to people like they were the only person in the room. He told a joke about responsible manure and made me laugh so hard I snorted. We hit it off as friends with book swaps, lunch dates, the occasional hike. He was married then. And I was just starting over after my own divorce. But we were just friends. For years. He didn't cross any lines. Neither did I. When his marriage finally ended, it was sad but inevitable. And we stayed close. Eventually, what we had became more. And it was natural. Easy. Good. But to his kids? It was betrayal. In their minds, I was the reason their family broke apart. Never mind that David's marriage had been unraveling long before I came along. Never mind that we didn't start dating until well after his divorce was final. They had already decided I was the villain. We tried. We really tried. Dinners, birthdays, family outings, I made every effort. I let David go to his daughter's wedding alone when she said I wasn't welcome. He was heartbroken, but he went. And I stayed home. For him. But the wall was always there. Cold, silent, and getting taller. David and I moved in together about 9 years ago. It was supposed to be temporary, just until I found a new place. But then I brought over my cat. Then my books. Then my cookware. And eventually, I never left. He had this gorgeous old house on the edge of town. Wraparound porch, big oaks in the yard, cozy fireplace. We filled it with memories. We were a team. I cooked, he fixed things. We split the bills, kind of. Truthfully, he paid more. He had a city pension and a solid retirement account. I had a steady job in marketing, but my salary wasn't anything fancy. Still, it worked. We traveled, hosted parties, fought over what color to paint the hallway. It was real. It was a life. And every once in a while, David would say, "Ratch, we should go see that estate planning guy Greg used. Just in case." I'd smile and say, I know. I just don't want to think about all that legal stuff right now." "You don't have to," he'd say. "That's why we hire someone." "I know," I'd say. "After the next trip, okay?" That next trip turned into a busy season at work. Then a family visit. Then a home project. And then, we just never got around to it. We always thought we had more time. One night after dinner, we were sitting on the couch, sipping wine, watching a rerun of a show we both hated but loved to complain about. He paused the TV. "You know what Greg told me the other day," he said. "What?" I asked. "His cousin died last year. Had a stroke. No will. His girlfriend of 8 years got nothing. The guy's brother moved in and kicked her out of the house." I rolled my eyes. "That's awful. But we're not them." He looked at me with this soft seriousness I now wish I'd listened to. "We could be," he said. "We're not special. We're not immune." I remember brushing it off with a laugh. You sound like a commercial for legal services. He chuckled. But now I wonder if that was the last time he ever brought it up. Then came the stroke. We had just finished dinner. Chicken piccata. He kissed my cheek, walked into the kitchen, then I heard the crash. I ran in and found him collapsed, his hand clutching the edge of the counter. His words were slurred. His eyes were glassy. I called 911, screaming. The ambulance came fast. He was unconscious by the time we reached the ER. I held his hand. Whispered that I loved him. Told him everything was going to be okay. But it wasn't. He was stable, but non-responsive. Brain swelling. The doctors said we had to wait. Could be days. Weeks. They didn't know. I stayed at the hospital. Slept in a chair. Talked to the nurses. Played his favorite music, Miles Davis and Norah Jones. I told him stories. Made dumb jokes. Prayed. Then on the second day, his kids showed up. I was polite. I stepped out to let them have time alone. I even bought them coffee. But the next morning, everything shifted. Suddenly, I wasn't allowed in meetings with the doctors. I overheard Anna, his oldest, talking to a social worker. She's not family. She shouldn't be involved. The next day, I got stopped by hospital security. They'd gone to court. Filed for emergency medical guardianship. Claimed I was interfering with their father's care. And legally, they were right. David had no healthcare power of attorney. No living will. Nothing on file. And I wasn't his wife. Not on paper. I begged the nurse, please, just let me see him for a minute. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, I'm so sorry. Legally, they control visitation. And just like that, I was cut off. I sent letters. Asked nurses to read them to him. I hope he heard them. I really do. But I never got to say goodbye. David passed 19 days later. I didn't find out from the hospital. Or his kids. I found out from a text message. A neighbor. I heard about David. I'm so sorry. No funeral invite. No chance to be there. Nothing. And then, the very next morning, Anna showed up at the house. With a locksmith. She handed me an envelope. This house is now legally ours. Per state law, we've initiated eviction. I was stunned. Eviction? This is my home. I've lived here for nearly a decade. Our dad's home, she said. Not yours. You're not on the deed. You're not his wife. You're not anything. They gave me 10 days. I tried to reason. I tried to appeal to decency. But it was clear, they had waited for this moment. I slept on my friend Sharon's couch. I went to work because I had to. I stared at spreadsheets I couldn't comprehend, sitting in Zoom meetings with people smiling like my world hadn't just ended. I saw an estate planning attorney. I needed to know, did I have any rights? She listened carefully, then asked, were you on the deed? No. Joint bank accounts? No. Updated beneficiary forms? Not that I knew of. She looked at me kindly, but firmly. Rachel, I'm so sorry. You don't have legal standing. Not for the house. Not for any accounts. Not even to challenge the medical decisions. It didn't matter that we shared holidays, routines, laughter, grief, and a life. I didn't exist. Not on paper. Later I found out about the life insurance. $400,000. Still listed to his ex-wife. A woman he hadn't spoken to in years. He had meant to change it. He told me he would. But he hadn't. So she got it. And I got nothing. I checked our cabinets, looked for old paperwork. I found his handwritten notes, to-do lists, even a printed email with an attorney's phone number scribbled next to it. One note said, "Ask Rachel about next week, schedule estate plan." It was dated 4 days before his stroke. The worst part? I found a voicemail from David a few days after he passed. It was from a month before. "Hey, babe. I talked to Greg today. Seriously, we need to do this estate planning thing. Doesn't need to be a big deal. Let's just do it. For us." I never called him back that day. I texted. Said I was busy. Said we'd talk later. But there was no later. I lost the house, the security, the stability. I lost our dog. I lost the retirement we talked about. I lost the ability to grieve openly, because the world didn't see us as real. I lost him twice. First when he died. Then when the law erased me. I'm telling you this because you need to hear it. If you're in love, if you share a life, if you want to protect each other, do not wait. Make it legal. Get your names on the paperwork. Draft the trust. Fund it. Sign the documents. Because love is not a legal strategy. And if you think you have time, I'm living proof that sometimes you don't. My name is Rachel. And I thought we had more time. But now all I have is a story. I hope it becomes your warning. Don't wait.
This story was fictional, but it highlights some of the chaos that can happen in actual estates. If you want to plan your estate the right way, get your free ebook at www.estateplanningebook.com.